Hey guys, we're back from Las Vegas. So we can do some more fantasy football drafts. And this is the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for July 30, 2025. Like I said, we're going to get into some best ball drafts tonight. Looking forward to it because it's the first time we've done this in a couple of weeks. And there have been some changes, obviously, with training camp news. We'll discuss it as we go. Before we get into it, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. I'll talk about the merch store, but subscribe, please, because we're 2 subscribers short of 5,000 subs on YouTube. It'd be a huge milestone. I was like, could we get there before the regular season starts? And like, yeah, we just got the surge of past few days. So yeah, I mean, if you guys really want to help us out, like, please do that. Also, here's the merch store. Here's the May is Wrath Month shirt. My daughter, I love this shirt for some reason. I don't know why. She's like, who's that? Who's that? But yeah, you can get that shirt as well as anything else here on the merch store. You can see it right here. We have 20% off sale. We have shirts. We have mugs. We have our famous apron. So this would help us out a lot. Also, go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent book is Jerks to the College Years. It is a book where I made fun of people, and it has a perfect 5 out of 5 rating. So I think you guys like it. Also, please consider super chats, super stickers. That's the best way to support the show. Like really, it helps us out so much because YouTube ads pay nothing. I say it all the time, and it's absolutely true. YouTube ads pay nothing, and if you guys super chat us or super sticker us, it's like 8x what we normally get through YouTube ads. So really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you, Slew, John Sanders, Armac recently. Just thank you so much, guys. Can't say that enough. So we're joined by Mike Lucine of NFLRoughDraft.com. Mike, how's it going?
It's great. Good to have you back from Vegas. Looking forward to talking about the start of training camp. Most teams are in pads now, so I'm looking forward to going over all the news and what it means.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some of the different ADPs in the draft. Like even stuff today, like we had Isaiah Likely going down with an injury. Now it sounds like he's going to be okay, but he might be out a few weeks. Justin Jefferson, he could be out of training camp until week 1, although we don't know. Joe Mixon a few days ago, he got hurt. I'm sure there have been some others on top of my head. Najee Harris has not returned to practice. Chris Godwin, it was revealed he had a second surgery. So we've had a lot of news so far. Does anything in particularly stand out to you as we wait for this draft as being kind of like overly impactful and like kind of like really shake up your fantasy rankings?
Yeah, there are a few things. I mean, I guess it's not overly impactful, but I have CeeDee Lamb over Justin Jefferson now because it's a hamstring. I know Jefferson he'll probably be back for week 1, so it's not a major deal. But with it being a hamstring, I don't really want to spend the second or third pick in the draft on Jefferson when I already had CeeDee Lamb pretty close to him anyway. Obviously, Joe Mixon's a big one. I had Joe Mixon in my 4th round before it was announced that he's going to be out. And it's going to be interesting to see, where he ends up, where his ADP ends up settling. Because, if you look historically, players drop really gradually when they're injured. So, I don't think that he's even hit his floor for ADP right now. And I know a lot of people are just saying, I don't want to draft him no matter what. But I think he's going to be interesting once you get into that range where you're looking at the 9th or 10th round. Because if he does play, he's obviously going to be the starter there.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of that. I was going to ask you like where you would draft him. We don't have all the information yet, but I did a draft last night and he fell to the 9th round or 8th round. And I didn't take him. I just obviously just didn't know what to do. I think I would have taken him because it was I think I'd like the 11th pick or 12th pick, so it must have been the 8th round. I think I would have taken him in the 9th round at like 9, 11, around 12, whatever it was. But 802 or 801 seemed a little too early for me because I still like the receivers there, like Emeka Egbuka, Josh Downs, Ricky Pearsall, and he's had some positive news recently. He came back to practice. So anyone who's worried about that being like another Christian McCaffrey situation, you don't have to worry about that anymore. The draft has started. We have the 4th pick. We didn't know who's going to do odds and evens. I'll give you the odds because you discussed Justin Jefferson. So in 2 picks, you'll be up and you can make that decision. So you'll handle the odd rounds. I'll handle the even rounds. And I feel like that's just a lot smoother because like usually when we debate, it's like, and then we run out of time. That always seems to happen. So we have one pick left. There's Barkley, Jefferson, Gibbs, Lamb, McCaffrey. We'll see who this Minick person decides to pick. He picked Barkley, so this is your decision. So who do you like?
Yeah, for me, that's pretty clearly CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
Again, I was kind of flirting with the idea of moving him ahead of Jefferson anyway. I really don't like the Cowboys running game this year. I think he's going to get a ton of targets. Dak's healthy. And he's got Pickens there who I think will actually help him. So, yeah,
I definitely understand the pick. It's a little scary when you have soft tissue injuries for sure. Is this a real draft or a commie draft? Well, I don't know. Is our best ball drafts real drafts? I don't know. I think that they're pretty real. I mean, this is a $20 investment, so we have the potential to win $2 million. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. If I win $1 million doing a draft, I will share it 50-50 after taxes, because I don't want to pay all taxes, with whomever I draft with. So if this is our $2 million draft after taxes, you'll get half of it, Mike. So let's make this a good draft. Now, it has to be $1 million plus, but hopefully we get the grand prize here. The second place is $1 million too. So yeah, I mean, this is it's a lot of fun. I don't know. Again, Cassandra, you'll have to tell me if this constitutes a commie draft. What do you think, Mike? Is this a commie draft or a real draft?
Yeah, I think this is a real draft. Like you said, there's $1 million prize here, I mean, so and it's good practice for when you get to the lineup setting leagues that, they start to become popular in about a month.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I want to give you some credit. You were right about Chris Godwin. I was holding off. I wasn't ready to say, that it was something serious. It just didn't make sense to me that he was going to still be out from that injury when camp started, but it sounds like he had a second surgery and he is going to be out. And it certainly moved him way down my rankings. And if you were drafting as you were, Walt, before camp started, you got a big advantage by fading him.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about before, where I was asked, like, why do you do so many drafts early? And I actually asked this of Smitty from the Fantasy Football Show, and he told me last year, and I would kind of like my eyes open. I'm like, oh, okay, because I was in the camp of that too. I was like, why not just do it at the end when you have all the info? But I feel like, and Smitty kind of said this to me, and he's like, if you have like knowledge about these players, and if you have like a good read on stuff, then you can get ahead of the pack and just get great value. Like I was getting Emeka Egbuka a couple of months ago, like 9th round, and now he's going, like, he went 7th round a couple of times. I did like 4 drafts since I got back from Vegas. He went in the 7th round twice and went in the 8th round twice. I got him both times in the 8th round, but not in the 7th. So I kind of have to adjust for that. Josh Allen goes second, 204, by the way. It's still early. So anyway, I think that's kind of reinforces the point that, like, you should do some drafts early and then some drafts late. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sad by the news, because I was still hoping to get Egbuka in like the 8th, 9th round again. But that's the jig is up, I think. I don't think I'm getting him that late anymore. He's my second highest drafted receiver at like 29%. So I'm pretty happy with that. Do you have any guesses on who the number one receiver is?
Number one receiver.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna be up in 1 pick. So this guy's taking Brown. Okay. I have one guy in mind here I love. I hope he's not taken. He was not taken. I'm going to take Bucky Irving. I know you like Taylor. Maybe he comes back to us. I love Bucky Irving. I think he's going to have a huge year. And I mean, Tristan Wirfs is out, but I'm not. It's only going to be for a few weeks. I don't think it's a big deal. And I have a feeling Rachaad White's going to be traded. Rachaad White already said this is his final year in Tampa, and like, you normally don't hear that often, like a player saying, "Oh, this is my final year here." So like, there's a chance that he might be dealt. And they have Sean Tucker in relief too, so it's not like they're going to be thin if they trade Rachaad White. So What are your thoughts on Irving? And have you come up with the number one receiver here? And commenters, please don't spoil it.
Juwan Jennings.
Same team.
Pearsall?
Pearsall, yeah.
I like it. Wow. Okay. I thought you were higher on Jennings. I'm higher on Pearsall. And yeah, wow. Okay. Love that. What percentage of leagues do you have Pearsall in?
Pearsall's in 32%. Jenny Ibuka's 29%. Yeah, so
29% Ibuka is looking real good right now. He's going to end up in the 6th round before he goes back to the 8th and 9th round.
Yeah, and imagine if Mike Evans he always has hamstring issues. Like what if he has hamstring issues suddenly? All right, so you're up in 2 picks. Taylor went, unfortunately. I know you like him, but like I said, I like Irving more. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Rashee Rice goes. It's weird to see him in the 3rd round now. These days.
Someone not paying attention to
yeah, or they're just like, I don't think he's going to come back at 410. Let me take him at 303, which I don't really like. 302 actually. I don't like that much. So top available looks like Chase Brown just went. We're up. McBride, Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Adams, Kyron Williams, Hampton, Jack Smith and Jigba, etc.
It was going to be Chase Brown. We were going to have 2 running backs there to start. I think he's going to, be the workhorse there. I love Trey McBride though. I think in the 3rd round, that's a solid pick. It's Bowers and McBride for me is the top tier of tight ends. So
okay, interesting.
Now we don't have to worry about tight end, and I would even consider him late in the 2nd round in these leagues.
Really? Why do you like him so much?
Well, I mean, you just look at what he did last year. He had a monster season without having that many touchdowns, but he actually had a lot of targets in the red zone. He just kind of had bad luck with touchdowns. So I don't remember exactly. Did he have no touchdowns last year? I don't remember the exact number, but it was not many.
He had no touchdowns through 16 weeks. And then week 17 against the Rams, he caught a touchdown. And then he caught a touchdown in the final week of the season, which doesn't count for fantasy, of course. Right. So in the real fantasy season, he only had 1 touchdown.
Yeah, if you look at the volume he got and you look at the production that he had, it was very fluky, to think that he only had 1 touchdown. Even a modest bump up to 5 or 6, I think is going to make him pretty far ahead of the rest of the pack. He and Bowers, I think, will be pretty far ahead of the rest of the pack. I know you like Kittle up there with them. My issue with Kittle, I like Kittle, but he caught almost every target he had last year. I think he only didn't have a reception on 16 of his targets for the entire season. So I just don't know if that type of efficiency will repeat itself. And, he's getting a little bit older too. I think he's 32, I believe. Yeah. So for me, it's Bowers and McBride. And, this will probably be a little bit of a different build for you because I know you don't really like the early round tight ends, correct?
Yeah, I don't think I drafted McBride yet. I mean, I think I maybe taken him once. So I mean, yeah, I do appreciate the different builds. I worry about Kyler Murray staying healthy. You talked about how there might be some touchdown, just his touchdown scoring going back to the mean, which I think could happen if Murray stays healthy. But I worry about Murray staying healthy. It happened last year, but it feels like that was a fluke almost. And so, like, if he goes down, they do have a good backup now, so maybe I shouldn't be as worried as I was last year. It's not like Clayton Tune or anything, so they definitely have a better backup now. So I'm not too worried about it. I'd rather just have like some of the other players, like Hampton. Like I was against him in this range before, but now that Najee Harris is like, I don't know, he might be blind for all we know. Like we haven't heard anything about his situation. And it's kind of like worrying that it's been this long. I think like he opens up. I love Jack Smith and Jigba. I don't love Martin Harrison Jr., but I do think he has a lot of upside. There's the quarterbacks, Higgins at 304 have been interesting. So I just like those players more. I do like McBride though. Like he's really talented, so he could really pay off for us, especially if he gets those touchdowns. So that it could work out. What's his face? Joe Burrow's left, so I kind of wonder about him. McLaurin's still here. It's nice to get one of the top 5 quarterbacks. We obviously are not pairing him with anyone. But like McMillan Ghosts, but like I don't love anyone here. Like Hubbard's nice, but we can get him on the way back. I don't know if you're going to take him, but like he could go on the way back. McLaurin's kind of interesting because he's falling because of the contract. I feel like that's a little overblown. So I'm a little tempted to take him. Would you take McLaurin here or Burrow? I'm really conflicted.
I'd probably go. I don't know. I'm conflicted too. I'm not worried about McLaurin though.
Yeah, me neither. I'm gonna go Burrow because this guy took Chase probably take him, and I'm interested to see if McLaurin falls to the 5th round. Oh, never mind. There he goes.
There you go.
I guess you have to find out like how far guys will slide sometimes. So let's just call that like a learning experience, I guess. I don't know. I was like 50-50 on it, and I'm pretty confident Burrow wouldn't have fell to us because the guy who took Jamar Chase is probably gonna draft him, and I'm sure he's like cursing the heavens that we took him. I'm always tilted whenever I had the first pick. I take Chase, and then like Burrow's not there. But sometimes I settle for like Hurts, but he's gone too, and like Jaden Daniels at 211. That's pretty insane.
The 2nd round. Yeah.
I usually get him at the beginning of the 4th round. Like whenever I've the past four drafts I've done since I got back from Vegas, I've had the 11th pick, then the 12th pick, then the 12th pick, then the 11th pick, and so I keep drafting Jane Daniels in that beginning of the 4th round range if he's there. Ridley goes. Okay, so we're gonna be up in 1 pick here. There's Kamara, Walker, Jameson Williams, Pickens. Pickens just went. Hubbard's, Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, Connor, Waddle, Henderson, Hunter. Who do you like?
Yeah, so we're up here. Yeah. I like Devontae Smith. I like Ken Walker here too. If you'd prefer running back, I like both of them. Personally, I think Devontae Smith in the 5th round is a home run, though. He's a top 20 receiver all day. We've talked about it on the show before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of upside, especially if AJ Brown gets hurt again. AJ Brown always seems to like miss some time. So Smith really goes off in those games. It's a shame that we don't have Hurts instead of Burrow to have that stack, but that's okay. But yeah, the quarterbacks all went early except for Jackson. Jackson went in his natural spot, but like Josh Allen usually goes like 304, not 204. Daniels always goes like 402 instead of 211, and then Hurts always goes like late 4th and not 401, or sometimes in the 5th round. So it's pretty surprising to see him drop this far or go so early. I mean, it's just kind of bizarre. We have some questions. Are you going to put out any season-long player prop bets? Yes. I was starting the process of trying to find like the best odds for that. Like a lot of the sportsbooks have the same odds. Like I was looking at Bijan. Bijan's like 1,200 rushing yards, the over under. But I was looking at like Alvin Kamara, and I don't like Alvin Kamara this year, but I found some like potential arbitrage where he's I forget which sports book, but like one has him at 750 and one has him at 775 rushing yards. And I'm thinking like if you just bet the over 750, under 775, you could potentially middle. Now you might lose out on the VIG, which kind of sucks. But there's a chance for middling, and so I wanted to look at like some opportunities for that. So do you look at that stuff at all? Like because you do a lot of fantasy, do you look at like player prop bets and stuff like that for the season?
No, I haven't. With my kids so young in fantasy and the NFL draft and then just actual real football, I haven't really gotten in too much with the player props. Every now and then I'll come across something that I like, or I have friends that'll kind of send me, some props and ask me what I think of it. But I stay away from it. With Kamara, it's interesting though. If it's just rushing yards, it's dicey, right? Like I like Kamara in fantasy, but a big reason for that is just because Kellen Moore runs a lot of plays and he catches a lot of passes. But when it comes to his actual rushing yards, I mean, we know he's not going to have more than 950, right? He never has.
Yeah.
But, if you were to tell me he was going to have 600 yards rushing, but still finishes a top 12 running back in fantasy, I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah. You know what worries me about Kamara is that the Saints are going to be terrible this year, and he's older. So is it crazy to think that like late in the year they could just be like, we're done for the season. Let's either shut you down or give you like 8 carries, in a game. Let's see what we have in Devin Neal or Kendry Miller. That really worries me that something like that could happen.
They could trade him though too. He could end up
true.
in Dallas or somewhere like that.
Yeah, that's true. Although Dallas would have to be good, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Unfortunately, Travion Henderson went off the board 2 picks earlier. I really wanted him. I've been drafting him more lately. Part of that is because you recommended him. It kind of like opened my eyes and it dug more into him, and I've been a real fan. I'm going to take the other rookie, Caleb Johnson. Now he may not start right away, but I think that the talent will end up winning out, and we need a second running back anyway. So what are your thoughts on Caleb Johnson and also Bucky Irving from earlier?
Yeah, I like Irving. So with Irving, the whole deal there is the screen game's got to stay the same, right? With Liam Cohen, their screen game was just amazing, especially their screen game with the running backs. And with him not there, that's got to they've got to kind of keep that similar. But there's a good chance that that's going to happen because they promoted from within. So I don't know that a lot of that offense is really going to change. And certainly he's going to start the year in a much better and much higher on the depth chart, or with a much greater role, I guess, than he did last year because White was still a starter early in the year.
Oh, Ibuka just went. Okay. You're up in 2 picks, by the way. And you're up in 1 pick.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at my rankings here.
Okay. We had Jennings, Mahomes, Diggs, Shakir, Pacheco, Mixon, Addison, Kelsey, Robinson, Pearsall, Mayfield, Hawkinson. What a shame that see, that's what I'm talking about. Ibuka's gone. All right. So Diggs is off the board. We're up right now.
Yeah, let's go. I know you have him in a lot of leagues, but let's go Pearsall here.
I like it.
I mean, I've got Josh Downs a little bit higher than him, but I think Josh Downs is probably going to be there in possibly another 2 rounds, or he's the next pick. He's the very next pick.
I would have guessed that he would have made it to us at 809. So we've had some weird picks. With like Matthew Golden went 6'11". The quarterback selections earlier. This guy at the Spasagia guy has taken 6 receivers with the 6 picks. So there have been some weird selections.
Matthew Golden is lighting it up in camp right now, though. I mean, he had another really big day today. I know they have a log jam, and it's anyone's guess if any of those guys end up emerging, or if it's like it was last year where it's just one guy one week and another guy the next week. But Matthew Golden looks like the real deal.
That's interesting. I didn't read anything about that, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see if it translates to real game action. There have been so many receivers, especially receivers over the years, who look great in training camp and like have done nothing. I remember Todd Pinkston, the receiver from the Eagles.
Yeah.
He would always look great in practice, and then he just would not do anything in real game action. So we'll see. He could be great for all we know. But there's also a chance that he's not. And I think that like the second team, he got off to a rocky start because he took Daniels in the second round, then Rashee Rice, but then he kind of picked it up with Ridley, and if Golden works out, and then Ibuka. So he's kind of redeemed himself a little bit. Although Debo at 411 is a little early.
Yeah, I like Debo. I'm higher on Debo than I think a lot of people are, and I wouldn't have taken him at 411.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit early. The pick that's standing out there to me is 2 picks later, Courtland Sutton. I want to know how you justify taking Courtland Sutton over Devontae Smith. Like, Courtland Sutton, has he ever had a season greater last year was his best year.
Yeah.
Most likely that's not going to repeat itself. The Broncos had pristine pass blocking last year. He had no target competition. And now they've got Evan Engram there, who's going to get a ton of targets. And I mean, Courtland Sutton still only averaged, I think, 13.8, 13.9 PPR points per game last year. So I mean, that's not really anything special. I don't like it at 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, you worry about the upside there for sure. I mean, Bo Nix is going to be is going to have more experience, so potentially Sutton could do better, but now he's 30. He just got paid. Yeah, it's a little strange. I'd rather have Ridley too. You could argue Hunter as well. Zay Flowers in a best ball format, I think, has more spike week potential. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Hubbard, I'd rather have a different position, but I'd rather have Hubbard.
I've got Sutton in the 8th round. I'm pretty low on him.
Yeah, I think I'm higher on him than you are, but I think that's a little too early too. So we're definitely on the same page there. Although Mixon just goes. And speaking of more interesting picks, the team 12 took Laporta and then Travis Kelce, which I don't know if you know, this is a one tight end format. Obviously, your tight end could be in your flex, but Kelce is someone who hasn't shown anything in the regular season in 2 years. So. And plus, Rashee Rice is back, and he might. Granted, he might be suspended for a couple games, but that's a very bizarre pick. And he only has 3 receivers so far. So,
Worthy's got a year under his belt now, and Marquise Brown. I know he got hurt again today, and he's always hurt. But if he's there and he's healthy, that's going to take even more targets away from Kelce.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's no reason to take Kelce at 7-12, especially after you drafted a tight end earlier. It just seems insane. Let's see, best ball equals Kami. Okay. So but we have our answer. I would love to hear why. It seems pretty great. But I don't know, it's fun. Godwin's on the board. Let's go with him. Just kidding. So oh man, this is a rough spot. I don't really like any of the guys at the top here. I'm going to star Jaden Higgins unless I find someone better. We only have 3 receivers. Receiver, running backs. I don't like Etienne, Warren, Tracy. This Pittman. Man, this is pretty rough. We have a tight end already. Yeah, I'm going to go with Higgins, I guess. Charlie likes him. You like Higgins? Okay. I feel like I can get him in the 9th round, though, and sometimes 10th. But usually like 9th round, like even late 9th round, I've got him. So 809 seems early. That's my only hesitation. I do like him, but it seems like a little early. But I didn't like anything else there. Did you see anyone who like stood out to you?
No, although I know you're going to disagree on this, but this is where Godwin gets interesting for me, just because he hasn't been ruled out for week 1 yet. And what bothers me about Godwin is that he hasn't had a chance to train for the entirety of the offseason. So it's not like he's going to like step back in and be his old self and in week 1. But, if he comes back before the end of the preseason and is practicing with the team and, he starts to look, he plays week 1 and starts to look like himself by like mid-October, that's the 9th round. I don't hate that.
Okay. Well, I've been saying I don't think he plays till like week 8. But I mean I could be wrong about that. But it's like 4 separate injuries, 2 surgeries. Just I don't know. And then they spent the 1st round pick on a receiver. Just I don't know. There's so many red flags there. It reminds me of McCaffrey last year. Just like it
very well could be that.
Yeah. All right. You're up in 2 picks. Same guys. If you want to take Godwin, that's fine. We need another receiver. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever you want to see. If you want to see specific positions, let me know. We're up right now. Godwin just went. So
okay. Yeah. Let's see. Is Reed still there? Reed's gone, right? Jaden Reed.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
Is Jacoby Myers still there?
No, he's gone.
Okay. Addison's gone. Shakir's gone.
Here's the top receivers.
What's that?
Here's the top receivers.
Quentin Johnston. Not there. Okay.
We took Quentin Johnston.
We get him. I know that is going to make a lot of people puke. I get that, but he's another one. He's off to a good start in camp. I think he gets a bad rap because he had a lot of bad drops in really big spots last year.
Yeah.
There was a Monday Night Football game in particular where he just dropped everything that was thrown at him.
The Ravens game. I bet the Chargers. I came away from that game hating Quentin Johnston more than any other player in NFL history because he ruined that game for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, he did still take a big jump forward, and his drop rate isn't as bad as everybody thinks it is. It's just he's done it in spots where everybody's watching, right? Like that playoff game, I think he got shut out. I don't think he even had a catch in that game.
No.
But he's only a third-year receiver. He wasn't terrible last year. He took a step forward, and Justin Herbert's just, I mean, he's a really good quarterback. He's probably one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the NFL if you're just going by actual talent. So this is where receiver starts to get a little bit dicey. I like Johnston this year. I think that I'm not calling for a 1,400-yard season or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him in that sort of Jacoby Myers type range where he has 1,000 yards or 1,100 yards, and he's certainly the type of guy who's capable of some big games because he's got the height, weight, speed. Just needs the hands.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, he could be a late bloomer. I don't think that's out of the question. He has potential. He's taken the first round for a reason. And he plays in with a good quarterback. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely be right about that. And if you are, we're gonna have a nice advantage here as a team that has him, because usually drops quite a bit. But if Quentin Johnston plays well, that'd be awesome for us here. Not great for my other teams because I haven't drafted them that often. But like you're right, like it feels like everyone's on the Trey Harris bandwagon. And what if it just is Quentin Johnston and he's just a late bloomer? So I could see that.
I thought that they drafted Trey Harris to replace Josh Palmer.
Yes,
and we'll see. But I think Johnston. The one thing I'll say about him is I think his ADP is definitely rising. So maybe the 9th round was about a round too early, but it's going to be interesting. I don't think he's going to be getting out of the 10th round for much longer.
Okay, interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens once real action starts. Like what if he could start dropping passes again and get benched, or he could finally live up to his potential. I feel like he could go either way, really. All right, we need another quarterback. It's either May or Herbert. I love May's upside, but we have Quentin Johnston, so we could just pair him. I do love Charbonnet too. Given that there are 2 quarterbacks here, let me just star these guys. I want to look at the draft board. So each of these teams have 1 quarterback. Well, let's go Justin Herbert because we took Quentin Johnston. So I want to pair those 2 together. So who would you have taken there quickly? Drake May obviously just goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe we go Charbonnet and then take whichever one of those quarterbacks drops, but with Drake May being the next pick, they might not have dropped. So yeah, I really like that Justin Herbert pick. And then again, this sets this team up where if Johnston has 1,000 yards, and Herbert, I mean, Herbert's going to. The biggest thing there is they're not going to run a lot of plays. They have a good defense. They like to run the ball, and they've got Amari and Hampton. But he's a really good quarterback. So if they get into some game scripts where they're trailing, he's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the Chargers have a terrible defense, so he could be in those situations. The reason I took a quarterback because every team drafting from 1 to 3 had only 1 quarterback, so I thought they were going to take some. We just saw Jordan Love go, and then now Penix. So. All right, so we're up in 1 pick. So what are you doing here?
Okay, you're going to hate this again. I'm sorry. You're gonna hate this again.
Okay.
Gotta go Judkins here. We have to go Judkins here.
Okay.
It's the 10th round. I feel like the Browns, and I feel like the NFL is in the Browns' ear. And they're like, look, all these 2nd round picks are making a big deal about their contracts being fully guaranteed. Let's show them what happens if they're going to wait until right before camp to sign. Now we're going to show them you better not go out and get yourself into any trouble because we're not going to sign you at all. But the Browns organization, Barry, Stefanski, this is it for them. They have to win this year or that regime is going to be fired. And right now, everybody's freaking out and saying, oh gosh, maybe they're going to relinquish his rights. There's no way. There's no way. To me, this is a Josh Jacobs caliber running back. Yeah. And they're going to find a way to get him signed, get him into camp. And here in the 11th round, I mean, if the guy is starting by like week 4 or 5, I mean, that's a huge value. You're starting to look at some of these running backs who are going, Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte Williams. I mean, even Tyjae Spears. Tyjae Spears has a little bit of upside, but these other running backs have no upside. Yeah. Judkins has a chance to be the starter early in the season. And, I mean, honestly, he could outperform a lot of these guys who went 2 or 3 rounds early. Look at 2 rounds earlier. Jaylen Warren, Tyrone Tracy, J.K. Dobbs, Scatterbo, Travis Henry. It wouldn't surprise me if Judkins outperforms all of those guys, even though he's not signed right now.
Yeah, look, you could be right about that for sure. It's just such a dicey situation right now. But this is a guy who's going 6th round about a month ago, and now he's fallen to the 11th round, and maybe his ADP will continue to drop. But at some point, the risk is worth the reward. And if he gets that situation remedied, or like if the charges are dropped or whatnot, then suddenly he'll look great. But I do think that, like, and you're right about like the Browns needing to win. I just it's given that like Roger Goodell was criticized so much for the Ray Rice situation, how he handled it. I think that like he's ordered teams just like not to even like roster these players. And we see that with Isaiah Bond, who would be on a team right now if it wasn't for his situation, which is similar. So we'll see. It depends. Like, this could be, the charges could be dropped tomorrow for all we know. And like, if that happens, then Judkins this is gonna be look like an amazing pick. But if the charges are never dropped and this keeps on going, then like he may not be on the team, and it may not be the Browns' decision. And that's kind of like what I'm saying with Goodell, just kind of like telling teams not to do it. So we're up right now. And unfortunately, Garendo went, which is very sad. I think this is probably the first draft I've done with you that we haven't taken Garendo. I'm gonna go with a training camp star right now, but this guy we liked before training camp, Tank Bigsby. Kenny is shout out to Kenny, who loves Tank Bigsby. He's been taking Tank Bigsby a lot, and I was kind of like worried about it because there's 3 guys there. But now like Tootin is dealing with an injury, and ATN is looking like garbage predictably, and like Bigsby is emerged as the best running back, and this is a Liam Cohen offense that made Bucky Irving a star. Bigsby could have a great year. What do you think about Bigsby?
Yeah, so I think my big thing where I don't like him in lineup leagues is just that he doesn't catch passes. I think he only had like 17, 18 targets last year. But in best ball, I really like him because he's going to get the goal line carries. He's going to hit your lineup when he has those 2 1-yard touchdown type games. And he's not going to hit your lineup in those weeks where he doesn't score touchdowns. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, you're up in 2 picks. So here are the options. Likely's at the top, but he's injured. So what are you thinking? I can switch positions if you want. Wait, we have some time. We're up to 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, can I see what's there for tight end real quick?
Yeah, likely Pitts. We're up now. Likely Pitts, Jonnu, Strange, Gesicki.
Yeah, so there's nothing there. Okay. I don't mind 2 in here. Is that too many running backs though?
Well, we already have Bigsby, so I don't think kind of interferes with that.
Okay. Let's go. How about Leggett? Is Leggett still there?
We ran out of time. I had Jaden Blue starred.
That's fine. That's completely fine.
Leggett, yeah, he's he actually just got taken. So why Leggett? Why do you like him?
Well, I mean, at this point, I was honestly just looking at it as we had a bunch of running backs. So if we needed to take a shot with some receivers, Leggett's one of those height, weight, speed guys. He, could get sort of the long touchdowns, which you look for in best ball. And, I don't think that he's going to have any kind of like a spectacular year or anything like that. But, for best ball, I could certainly see him having some long touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting because everyone's on Tyrell McMillan, but let's see here. We had some other questions. Chase Brown, 1,000 rushing yards is plus 170. Great value. I don't know what you think about the props. I know you said you don't do them, but that seems like something that should hit. Although Evan, who's like I said, was on the Tuesday show, he said he goes around Vegas shops and tries to find the best under for every running back in the NFL because his thesis is that more often than not, running backs go down, and so if they miss them and they miss like 3-4 games, like they'll go under. So keeping with that in mind, like, would you bet over or under 1,000 rushing yards for Chase Brown?
The rushing yards scare me because they throw the ball a lot, and Chase Brown catches a lot of passes. And I think that's where his fantasy value comes from. Now, 1,000 yards isn't what it used to be with the extra game, but it wouldn't shock me if he had less than that. It also wouldn't shock me. This is not, a name that's like a breakout star or anything like that. It's a boring name, but it wouldn't shock me to see Samaje Perine just take an annoying amount of the workload away from him. You know that the Bengals really like him in the passing game. He's good in pass protection. He catches some passes. The 1,000 yards there is what would scare me. But, certainly he looks like he's going to get a lot of volume. 170 targets. Did that say 170 targets?
No, plus 170. That's so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought I was going to say 100. He's not getting 170 targets. He might get 90. But
yeah, that'd be a lot for running back.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So yeah, plus 170. So if you bet 100, you win 170. That's right. The odds. Yeah, I don't think I'd touch it. If I had to choose, I think I'd go over. But I'm not in love with it. So we have McConkey 1,000 at minus 150, Metcalf 1,000, Aaron Jones 1,000, Bucky Irving 1,000, Josh Jacobs 1,250, Kyren Williams 1,250. Do you like any? Let me hold on. We're gonna be up soon in 2 picks. So this is gonna be my pick. This is what 14th round. So do you like Dante Thornton? Because he's
carried that over. He's carried that over to training camp. He's going to start at this point.
Okay. We have quarterback. We tight end. Do we take Gesicki to pair with Burrow? I don't know.
I like that.
Okay.
He had a lot of targets down the stretch last year.
Yeah, he did. He had some monster games late in the year, so I don't mind taking Gesicki here just to stack someone with Burrow. Now, hopefully Dante Thornton doesn't get taken in the next 6 picks. By the way, I just live bet the under in the LA Sparks Las Vegas Aces game for those interested. I don't know why anyone would be interested, but I noticed that in the blowouts, WNBA games go under, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, Thornton just goes. Of course he goes.
That guy's watching us. Oh, no, wait. It was the other guy who stole the other pick.
Well, this guy took Charbonnet also from us, the next pick, and Igbuka. This guy is who's this guy's name? Strong Side 55. Yeah, Strong Side. We know that you're watching us here. So anyway, you're gonna be up in 2 picks. Man, that sucks. So we should have taken Thornton. Anyway, Charlie, by the way, gave his blessing on Thornton. He said he spoke to 2 sources with the Raiders and said they both said he's legit and he's the real deal. And you're up right now. So what are we doing?
Yeah, I like Roschon Johnson. I think Roschon Johnson might end up being the starter. So this is pretty late to go starting running back.
Okay. Have you heard any? Is that just based on talent, or have you heard anything?
He's having a good camp. DeAndre Swift is not that good. That offensive line is very much improved. Think about David Montgomery before he got to the Lions. I think he had one decent year with the Bears. But Ben Johnson, he's going to use a tandem at running back. So, I mean, at worst, I think Roschon Johnson's going to have some David Montgomery games, which is great for best ball. But at best, I think he could really end up being the lead back because DeAndre Swift has been one of the worst backs in the league. And Thornton, as you were talking about, he's carried that over with into training camp. So Thornton has been consistently lining up in 2 receiver sets. Right now, Trey Tucker is holding off Jack Besh for that third spot. But Thornton had a touchdown, I think it was yesterday, like a 65-yard touchdown in practice. He had one a couple days before that. He's looking like the real deal.
Yeah, I'm happy I've drafted him a bunch. Thornton I have in 26% of my drafts, so pretty happy about that. I want it to be higher because it's a late round pick; it should be higher. Yeah, and the same sources who praised Thornton, they told Charlie that Besh is looking like a huge disappointment. So it kind of like drives what we see, So it's what a shame that we didn't get Thornton. I want him in every league. He's like the new Garendo almost. We get made fun of here. Actually, just like I logged into my sportsbook account, and I was like surprised to see the balance. Like I was like credited with like $300 more. I'm like, what happened? And then like I just forgot that we made baseball home run picks today, and Brent Rooker hit, so that was nice to see. Anyway, Walt, have you tried only drafting Redskins? Well, I haven't drafted Brian Robinson like very much at all. I have come away with the draft with Jane Daniels, Deebo Samuel, and McLaurin, and Ertz. I have done that, but I haven't drafted Brian Robinson. But you can't draft only Redskins because like in the first 2 rounds you can't really take anyone. Like maybe like you could stretch it to like 3rd round Daniels, 4th round McLaurin, 5th round Deebo, 6th round I guess Brian Robinson, but you could wait till the 7th or 8th, and then you kind of get stuck. You have to wait till Ertz in the 13th, and then Jalen Lane in the 20th. And I did take Lane in the 20th in that draft. But I haven't really drafted Brian Robinson just because like I'm not convinced that he's gonna be the starter all year. So
well, the talk of camp, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt,
yes,
the running back who played like 6 snaps for Arizona until they ruled him ineligible. But he's having a big camp. Makes me wonder if Eckler ends up getting traded. And if Eckler ends up getting traded, the Texans would be such a good spot for him. But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right, we're up in 3 picks, so maybe quarterback because we only have 2. What do our bye weeks look like? 10 and 12, so those should be good. Running backs, there's Shipley. Love Shipley. We already have 6 running backs, so we don't necessarily need him. It's Calvin Austin, I guess. There's Yushevis, but we can take him later. And
Burton has been really good in camp, which Jermaine Burton apparently has stopped committing crimes for a little bit of time, and they've been raving about him all spring, and he's carried that over. I'm not saying to pick him here. I'm just saying Yoshi Bach might not hold on to that 3rd spot.
Yeah, no, we could take him later for sure. I want to go with let's go with the quarterback. I don't want only 2 quarterbacks. I like the comfort of having 3. But yeah, I could have easily taken Shipley. We have 6 running backs though. Like it's not necessary to take another one, and we have some good sleepers too. So I'm comfortable with that. Is there anyone else you would have taken there, or anyone you had your eye on?
No, you're right. We need 3 quarterbacks, and that competition hasn't played itself out yet. I think that they're going to have to probably start Richardson, right? I mean, he's so young, and that's another regime that pretty much needs to make that work unless they want to lose their jobs. Mm-hmm. But I like that pick. I think Jones could be in a situation where both of those quarterbacks end up starting throughout the year. I like Jalen Noel. I just don't know if he's going to play a lot early in the year, and we have a lot of rookies. So I understand not taking him there.
Okay. Well, we're up in one pick, so what do you want to see here?
I mean, I like Jalen Noel.
Okay.
Based on my rankings, he's the next receiver.
Okay.
But you know what? Let's take him. It's a good offense.
Okay. All right, we took Jalen Noel. Let's get back to that question that we had before from Pollyanna. So McConkey, let's do one by one. McConkey, 1,000 yards at -150 odds. Over or under? What do you think?
Oh, over by a lot.
I agree. Metcalf over 1,000 yards is +120. What do you think?
I'm staying away from that one because DK Metcalf is very overrated. That team's going to play defense and run a small amount of plays, and Arthur Smith hates fantasy football, so he's going to throw 4 passes. He's going to have Aaron Rodgers throw 4 passes to every eligible target on that roster.
Yeah, I think I'd lean over. I wouldn't bet that either way though. Because I mean, if they still have Pickens, I'd say under, but he's like the only downfield guy they have. But you make a good point. I wouldn't bet it though. Aaron Jones, 1,000 rushing yards. I would go under. What do you think?
I love Aaron Jones. He follows me on Twitter.
Oh,
Under.
nice.
I think Jordan Mason's going to be very involved in that offense.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
heard
that
from a
way.
reliable. What's that?
It sounds that way. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I would go in there for sure, but it looks like you're not getting good odds there. Bucky Irving over 1,000 yards. I would do it. What do you think?
Yeah. Is that just rushing yards or total yards?
I assume it's rushing yards. I'm not
Okay.
Pollyanna, if you're still here, please let us know, but I think it's rushing yards.
Yeah. If it's rushing yards, I would go over. If it's total yards, then it's an obvious yes, unless he gets hurt.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Okay. What's next? Josh Jacobs, 1,250 rushing yards. What do you think?
That one actually scares me a little bit. They like to use 2 backs. They couldn't really last year. You know, Marshawn Lloyd got hurt again yesterday, and he might be out for a little while. But Emmanuel Wilson's also not. He wasn't terrible when they put him in the game last year.
Yeah.
And Jacobs gets hurt a lot too. I think I would go under there.
I think I would too. That's a close one. I wouldn't bet that one. Kyren Williams, 1,250. That's our last one. What do you think?
I think I'd go under there too. I think that situation is just all about whoever ends up being the running back for that given week. And I like Kyren Williams. I think they like Kyren Williams, but it wouldn't shock me to see Blake Corum or Jarquez Hunter take that job at some point during the year.
Yeah, and Williams has a long injury history too. So well, it's not that long. He hasn't played that long, but like his percentage wise, we've seen it be pretty high. So I would go under as well. So hopefully we helped you out, Pollyanna. My favorite one there is I think it's either McConkey over or Irving over, or Jones under. Those are the 3 I think I envision myself betting potentially.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I would not bet the DK Metcalf one.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
Like I said, we do fall on the opposite sides, but I wouldn't bet it either. So, all right, we have 6 running backs, 6 receivers, 2 tight ends. We need 1 more tight end, and we need 1 more receiver, and then we have the bonus pick. It could be anything. Our tight end buys are 8 and 10. Okay. I like Theo Johnson. He's not Higbee, but I like Theo Johnson. So I'm gonna just draft him. And so you can draft a bonus player. We could take a high-end receiver in the 20th round, or we could take 2 receivers, or really, like I said, we need 1 more receiver and then 1 of anything else. So what do you think about Theo Johnson?
Yeah, I like Theo Johnson. Again, he's very athletic. He fell to the 4th round in his draft year. I thought he was going to go, about a half a round earlier than that. And rookie tight ends never do anything, especially when they play in terrible offenses.
Right.
So, he's definitely got a chance to there goes Krosky Merritt. But he's definitely got a chance to take that second-year jump this year. So and especially as a 3rd tight end, I think that you're onto something with him.
Yeah.
At receiver, so your guy Alex Pierce apparently has looked even more improved than last year with his route running. From what I was reading, is he still there?
No, he went like 15th or 16th round. Unfortunately,
He's
I
gone.
would have taken him. Yeah.
How about is Pop Douglas there?
Um.
I think I saw him get picked.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
Do you want to go Burton?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go Burton and hope that he keeps himself out of trouble for a couple of months.
All right. We'll see. Fingers crossed, I guess. Well, it's the 19th round, so it's not a big deal. But I did read that report as well that he's looking better, and who knows, maybe he's turned his life around. When you're young, you do dumb things. Yeah, I'm certainly guilty of that, doing dumb things earlier in my life. I have a whole book I wrote about it. Yeah, he who knows, maybe he like found something, found God, found some sort of other calling, and he's going to turn his life around. That'd be really cool to see because he's very talented. So
he's probably getting arrested right now.
He's like
about this.
Not only is he getting arrested, he's in the cop car and the cops are listening to the show. There's like a tear coming down his face. Just like, what could have been?
That's great. Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, well, we had 3 tight ends, so we don't have to draft Higbee every time. I think this is the first draft I've ever done where I didn't get Guerendo or Higbee or Shipley. I'm very confident if you look at every draft I've done, I've taken at least one of them. It's a very, very weird draft. I don't like it. No, I do like this team a lot, actually. Do you have time to do a second draft, or are you running up because we're up at midnight? Do you have time?
Yeah, I can do another one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I will sign up for that as we go through the 12th round because hopefully we could just jump into that as this fills. So enter $20. Okay, so there's 3. So looks like that was a good decision. So we have 1 pick left. It's my pick. Who are our quarterbacks? So we have Colts, with Chargers, and we have Bengals. What are your thoughts on Keandre Lambert-Smith? Have you heard about him at all? Because we have Herbert.
Yeah, well, so the other thing with him is, I mean, not only is he having a good camp, if he has a role with the team, it's going to be as sort of one of those vertical type guys. So when he does score, it's probably going to be on a big play. So, that definitely makes sense, especially with Herbert.
Okay, I'm going to find him and star him just in case the other draft starts. Since ADP is 234, it's not out of the question that he could be taken here. This guy who stole a bunch of our guys, he took a bunch of rookies. He took Golden Igbuka, that's 2, Warren's 3, Scatabo 4, Thornton 5, Taylor 6, Dart 7, Brashard Smith 8, Jaquaski Merritt 9, Gadsden 10, and so he could potentially take an 11th rookie here in the 20th round. I like taking rookies as much as the next guy, but like at some point, there's just way too many.
See, like you look at those last 3 picks, you could take one of those guys because we're not talking like. Look, I don't have a problem with Golden and Ibuka. They're both first-round players. They're going to play. Smith, Krosky Merritt, Arande Gadsden, they might not play. Like none of those guys. Like there's a chance all 3 of them don't really play at all this year because it's the first week of camp still. And people are posting Brashard Smith beating a linebacker. It's a one-on-one drill. The guy was a wide receiver a couple years ago, and he's beating a linebacker, Brandon George actually, an undrafted linebacker. He's supposed to do that against a linebacker in a one-on-one drill. It's not he's the next, I don't know, Alvin Kamara.
Yep. By the way, Jalen Lane just went. Just kind of weird to see someone else draft him because I've been drafting him. So yeah, I do like Lambert Smith there. That is funny. That is funny though about Smith. Okay, so while we wait for this next draft, we have some comments. Are you still high on Brian Thomas? Maybe offensive player of the year, 40-1. I like that. Interesting. I bet Bijan Robinson offensive player of the year, 16-1. Because I think the guys at the top are flawed. Like Saquon Barkley is the favorite, but he had a huge workload last year. Jamar Chase is the second favorite, but I think the Bengals are going to have a losing record. So if I'm right about like Barkley maybe taking a slight step back and Chase not winning it because the Bengals stink, I think there's an opportunity there for some good bets to come through. And I think Bijan 16-1 looks pretty good. I like Jefferson before the hamstring. He was like 15-1 or 16-1. Maybe the odds went down. And then like Derrick Henry kind of stood out a little bit, but I don't know about him. He's 31 now. So, but what do you think about Brian Thomas Jr. at 40-1 to win Offensive Player of the Year? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long shot bet. So, I mean, it's worth, I guess, a small amount of money. He was already really good. I mean, not only was he really good last year, those quarterbacks left a lot of production on the field. I mean, there were so many plays where Brian Thomas was running wide open and the quarterbacks just completely missed him. So certainly it could happen.
Yeah. 40-1 seems pretty good. Again, shop around. Maybe you get a better number. But that is really interesting. So our draft's about to start. In 5 seconds, we had the 7th pick. So I'll handle the odd rounds this time. You could do the evens. So yeah, hopefully we get someone good here. I gotta admit, like I'm not loving the end of the first round now. I would say like the mid to late portion of the first round. Like I like taking Brian Thomas Jr. at 12. I found myself like with the 9th pick in one draft recently, and I was like, I took Brian Thomas Jr. there. It felt like a little too early. But I was like, I just like, I can find flaws with like all these guys at the end, especially like I've been drafting Neighbors a lot, but like the toe injury stuff like really bothers me. Like, when have you heard like a player just like be so pessimistic about his toe? And for those of you who haven't heard, like he said that it's an injury that doesn't go away, and he called it a mosquito. And the interviewer is like, a mosquito you can squash. He's like, no, it'll always be there. So that kind of worried me, you know. So anyway, that bothers me about Neighbors a little bit. So I want to lower my exposure. Gibbs goes. We're up in 1 pick. So we have Lamb and then question mark. Yeah. Who would you take here? Because I'm really like I'm dumbfounded by this. Yeah. Do you still like McCaffrey enough? I'd expect to see the upside.
I do. I actually bumped McCaffrey slightly ahead of Gibbs in my rankings, but
okay.
I mean, again, he's got to stay healthy.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. Like, can he stay healthy? If he can, like he's going to be a league winner here. I'll go with McCaffrey. I think it's the upside's there. In best ball, especially best ball. If this were a regular fantasy league with my friends, so I've been in this league since 2003, I don't think I'd take McCaffrey there at 107 just because like you don't need like home run players, but like McCaffrey does give you that home run threat in best ball that you could need to win the $2 million, you know. So
well, if you assume health, right, he's gonna have more volume than Gibbs. And I know everybody's looking at Gibbs and saying, well, like, all right, yeah, I know Montgomery was hurt, but he should still be used more than he was last year, right? There's been a gradual progression so far. They use Montgomery a lot his rookie year. They use Montgomery a little bit less last year. But you also have all of these other pieces in the offense where Laporta could take away some of those targets. He had a down year last year. Jameson Williams looking at deeper targets, but he should be a bigger part of the offense. That Lions offense, I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to have a lot of production, but it's kind of scary because it's going to be hard for all of those guys to hit their ADP.
Oh yeah, I'm down on the Lions this year. I don't see it. If McCaffrey wasn't there, who would you take? 107.
I probably would have gone Neighbors. I mean, Puka has got Stafford already having back problems, which I think would be a tiebreaker for me. I like Nico Collins, but I know what you're saying about the toe with Neighbors, but just think he's going to have 180 targets this year.
Yeah, I could see it. What if they shut him down late in the year? That's kind of what I'm worried about. You're up, by the way.
Right. I mean, I don't know how we don't take AJ Brown here, but why don't you make this pick? Because I kind of made the McCaffrey pick.
So I still have the even rounds. Yeah, I like AJ Brown. It's either Brown or Irving for me. We already took a running back, so I feel like if we went neighbors before, then Irving could be the pick. Just because I'm not like super opposed to going receiver, or running back, running back. I just like if it's close enough to stay balanced, because like what happens is like if you go receiver, and like the best player at 307 is a receiver. Okay, so you go triple receiver, fine. But like what if there's a great value at receiver at 406? Then like you go receiver again, you know what I mean? It's like I don't want to be like stuck in a spot where I don't take the best player because I already have so much of the position. So if it's like close enough, I'll take the opposite opposite position, running back, receiver. But again, I'm not like super opposed to it. I just think that like I just want to be stuck in a bad situation.
Yeah, and I mean AJ Brown specifically here, they did not throw the ball very much at all last year. As a matter of fact, it's almost certainly not repeatable to run the ball as much as they did last year.
Yeah,
and he's going in the middle of the second round right now. I just, for me, that's insane value. He's a first round receiver, and I just think you have a cluster of receivers, and I think that's kind of probably what you were thinking with Brian Thomas, right? You don't really feel great when you're starting that tier of receivers, but I mean, you can make an argument for any of them, but getting the one that's left over here, AJ Brown, that's just tremendous value at 2.6.
Yeah, I mean, he was going late first round last year. I remember drafting him at like 110, 111 a bunch. Now he's going 206 for no reason at all. Like, yeah, if you look at his overall stats, they were down last year, but he missed 4 games. So, and yeah, like, yeah, he misses some time occasionally, but he's so talented, and like on a per game basis, he's just gonna be awesome. So I feel like per game basis, we're doing really well with McCaffrey and Brown. Just we need them to stay healthy. I'm up in 2 picks. Unfortunately, Higgins is gone, Irving is gone, Brown's gone. Kind of worried. Harrison's gone. Let's see who's left. Jacobs is left. Never mind, he just went. Is it crazy to go Hampton here? What'd you say?
You talked about him. I moved him up in my rankings as well. I have him toward the top of the 3rd round. You were talking about him in the last draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's super talented. The question before was, is Najee Harris going to get in his way? And Najee Harris, he's just kind of blinded himself with this fireworks stuff. And like the fact that he's still not practicing is just, I feel like definitely some red flags there. So I'm going to draft Hampton here. You never want to root for injury, but like with this team, you just don't want to see Najee Harris come back too early. But Hampton could just run away with his job. And I was worried before that like Jim Harbaugh's an like old school coach who just might want to go with the veterans. But Harris kind of just let him go with the rookies. So it's kind of crazy that how this whole situation played out. Like, you don't think like he didn't learn anything from the Jason Pierre-Paul stuff, like not to play with fireworks, or like at least wait till you're retired to play with fireworks. I'd never liked fireworks anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that whole situation.
Well, what's really interesting here is Hampton's playing in the Hall of Fame game this week, which is a little bit surprising to me. Maybe it makes me wonder if maybe the prognosis on Najee Harris isn't quite as bad as everybody thinks it is, because I just don't know why you would run Hampton out there when, if Harris isn't going to be there, God forbid you end up losing Hampton in, the Hall of Fame game on that terrible turf that they have in Canton. But I just think he's going to be a star, and you're absolutely right. His clock to start was just accelerated with the fireworks accident with Najee Harris.
Yeah, but that decision, I don't really mind it too much. Well, I'd rather not see him play. But this could just be like Harbaugh being like old school coach, be like, oh, rookies got to play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd read too much into it. Remember, Josh McDaniels played Josh Jacobs in that Hall of Fame game too, right? Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not. I think Hampton is a 3rd round pick all day. I'm not saying that I think it means he's not the starter or anything. I'm just saying I'm surprised they're playing him because they have to put this guy in bubble wrap now with Najee Harris injured.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I would do, but I don't know. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a little quirky, so You're up in 2 picks. So this is the board here: Kittle, Worthy, Moore, Hurts, Rashi Rice, Metcalf, Burrow, Kamara, Walker, Williams, Sutton. We know you don't like Sutton. What do you think?
Would you rather go quarterback here, or should we take one of these receivers?
Worthy went. I think the quarterbacks are better than the receivers here, unless like you were like Rice. You can talk me into Rice, but
let's go Hurts here. We took AJ Brown. Yeah. Are we up here?
We're up. We stacked Brown with Hurts, which is nice. Always like that sort of start, and getting one of the top 5 quarterbacks. Like there are 5 elite quarterbacks, and there's a huge drop off after that. So I like coming away with one of the top 5. By the way, this guy is who I'm talking about. He took 3 receivers, then he's like, oh, Rice, great value, but I started quad receivers, which is not a great situation.
I still love Rice in the 4th round though. What if he's like a 6-game suspension or something like that? It's a little bit scary.
It could be. I heard the argument that he may not be suspended at all, just because he took a plea and whatnot. I don't know. We'll see. I think I have a feeling it's gonna be like 2 games. So, but it is a little scary. If it's only 2 games, I think he's a steal at 4-7. Yeah. If it's a 6 game, then that's gonna be a bad pick. So we'll have to see. I said Golden should be in prison for wearing number 22. Yes. Sandra says, I was so wrong about the big 4 receivers in the Johnson draft. My 1, 2, 3, 4 ended up being 4, 3, 2, 1 performance wise. Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe Quentin Johnson will come around and no Guerrero draft voided. It would be funny if like DraftKings send me an email. They're like, your draft's been voided because you didn't take Guerrero, and you always take Guerrero. Like I could see that happening. So we did have one draft voided. I don't know if I told you, like we were drafting, and like the guy who drafted 12th took like Blake Bell at 112. And we're like, oh man, this is gonna be voided. And like the next day I got an email saying your draft has been voided. It's the only time that's happened so far. I believe hold on, what happened here? I have if you guys followed my WNBA unders, the Aces and Sparks, they went under 167.5. So that was nice. I'm up in 2 picks. I celebrated too much. It takes Smith and Hubbard. I love Ridley. I love Henderson. These are the guys I'm starring here. Also Hunter. It's a little too early for him. Not too early, but anyway, we so Smith is interesting because we already have 2 running backs. I feel like Smith and Brown never go off together, you know? Is it dumb to draft Smith and Brown with Hurts?
Well, I mean, it could be Smith one week, it could be Brown another. You're thinking of the last week, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's tough. I'll go Smith. I don't really have this sort of stack that often, so I don't think I've taken Smith and Brown with Hurts. I obviously taken Hurts a lot, but I've stacked him with either Brown or Smith, but like never together. So I kind of want to see how that plays out. What would you have done there?
I would have taken Devontae Smith. I don't think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are priced correctly this year. I just don't. They throw the ball to 2 different targets other than Barkley in that offense. They just got insanely lucky with their game scripts last year. They barely threw the ball. And I think people are looking and saying, oh, well, Brown and Smith had down seasons, but they didn't really. They're going to have to throw the ball more this year. And and that's who they're going to throw it to. I mean, Jahan Dotson's not going to factor in. A couple of days ago, they were talking of Terrace Marshall. I mean, Terrace Marshall is not going to do anything. And then Dallas Goedert, they're trying to trade Dallas Goedert. So you know that he's not going to factor in too heavily. He might start, but he's not going to be a focal point of their offense. So I would have absolutely taken Devontae Smith there.
Yeah, don't forget about Grant Calcaterra. No, you're right. Like they only throw to 2 players. You're right. Like even if there's an injury, they just throw to one guy. Like it's such a weird offense that way. Like Goddard will randomly have like a good game, but like it's always either Brown or Smith. Like you're 100% right about that. So Maybe that's the stack could work out. We'll see. Especially, they have to throw more. Maybe that's what's messing with me, because like they didn't throw that much last year. So if they throw a little bit more, which you expect them to do, then they could both go off together. So I don't mind that. So you're up in 2 picks. This is the board: Harvey, Swift, Odunze, Olave, Montgomery, Caleb, Johnson, Jennings, Mahomes, Judy's, Diggs, Jones, Shakir, Pacheco, Mixon, Addison, Kelsey, Robinson, Mayfield, Igbuka, Pearsall's there. Okay, so what are you doing here?
Yeah, if Rome Odunze is there, I love Rome Odunze. I
me
just
too.
think that he's
there. He just went. We have to adjust.
So you're not going to like this pick very much.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
RJ Harvey's going to end up being the starter there, even if it takes to like week 3, which it might be week 1. RJ Harvey is going to end up being the starter.
I would say, like, I feel like what Sean Payton wants to do is like the opposite of Kyle Shanahan. Like, he wants multiple backs. Like, I think what he really wants is 2017 Redux, which Kamara and Mark Ingram. Like, I feel like he wants Harvey to be his Kamara, and he wants Dobbins to be his Ingram. So I think that it's going to be dual backs all year for the Broncos. But like, Harvey's a guy who can really hit some home runs. So I don't mind him in the 6th round. I don't know if he's that good though. Like, I had him in the 4th round of my mock draft, like the entire time. Charlie did too. I'm guessing you had him higher just because. I mean, look, the Broncos took him in the 2nd round, so maybe they're right. But to me, like, he's a former quarterback. It just doesn't seem like he has like the running IQ yet. Like, he doesn't know where all the holes are. Like, he dances around a lot. But like, he does have that explosive ability. So, what do you think about Harvey?
I had him in the 4th round, but I had him in the 4th round because of his career longevity. He's got an injury where he's not going to play for that long, sort of like Tajay Spears, going back to Jay Ajayi. It's one of those type deals. So I thought he was going to fall. Plus, there's just a logjam of, I mean, you remember the logjam of running backs in this year's class. So I thought he'd go a little bit later. But that running back room is just really bad right now. Even I just feel like if Dobbins starts the year with any kind of a decent role, he's going to end up relinquishing it either just by being washed or by getting hurt. I mean, I don't remember the last time he didn't get hurt and miss a significant amount of time.
Yeah, I actually think if Dobbins gets hurt, I still think it'll be dual backfield. Like, I think that he'll mix in Beatty, he'll mix in McLaughlin or Estime. Like, I don't ever think it's just gonna be Harvey. Like, I just don't think that's what Sean Payton wants to do. I think he wants multiple backs. Like, we saw it last year. He just ran multiple guys all the time. And yeah, maybe it's because all those guys kind of sucked, but still, like, I think that's just like what he always like wants to do. He's always been like multiple running backs, whereas like it's the opposite of Kyle Shanahan. Like,
good fantasy backs though. Pierre Thomas, Kamara.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys.
Yeah. No, I think Harvey could have a good year. I just don't think the job's gonna be entirely his. All right. Well, Egbuka's not falling to the 8th round anymore. Like, that's long gone. And again, that's why we drafted early on here. So I got Egbuka in a bunch of 8th and 9th rounds. He's not falling to us, especially. Happy I ended up with one draft with Egbuka tonight. So, what are your thoughts there?
Oh, I love it. I mean, Godwin is not going to be himself, when he gets back. So the worst case for Egbuka would just be Godwin getting back in a couple of weeks. But right now, it doesn't sound like, that's likely. I don't know. Godwin might not even play week 1. So if he gets back closer to the end of the preseason, Egbuka will have already found his role in the offense. And the reports about him have been glowing so far. So I think that's a good pick right there.
Yeah. For sure. We had some other comments. Sorry, guys, I'm a little late on these comments here. I got excited. Well, we're doing this draft, and I was excited about the WNBA under, which I told Mike before we started recording, and like, you guys, and this is proof. Like, you just saw this play hit. There's a cheat code in WNBA betting, and I hope too many people don't listen to this because it's been free money for me. I'm 9-2 in WNBA live unders. So what happens is if there's a blowout, Obviously, the benches come out. And unlike the NBA, like the bench, like the deep benches in the NBA, like they're packed with like good talent. There's just so much talent in the NBA. In the WNBA, there's no depth at all. Like it's just like scrubs who can't score. Anytime there's a blowout, the game goes on there almost all the time. I look back, like I said, 9-2 betting this, and I look back further than that. Like the fourth quarter is just no scoring, just because these players suck off the bench. And so anytime like in the fourth quarter when there's a blowout, just hit the under. It works. It just really works. So like someone, you're up in 2 picks, by the way. There's someone. I'm gonna start Josh Downs. So I know you like him.
Yeah.
Golden too. Someone. We should probably concentrate on this. You're up now. So do you want to take Josh Downs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're going to take Josh Downs. We even talked about him. Do you want to mention why you like Josh Downs?
Yeah. I mean, last year, he was going into his second year. Right around this time, he had a ton of buzz and he got hurt. And that injury followed him into the season. He missed the first week. I think he came back for the second week. But just picked right up where he left off. He had a ton of targets, and Anthony Richardson was horrible. Joe Flacco was horrible, and he still produced as I think he was like wide receiver 32 overall. If you go by points per, I always go by points per game. So he was still a wide receiver 3, and that was with absolutely ridiculously bad quarterback play. So even if that play is still bad this year, it's going to be hard for it to be as bad. So you've got Tyler Warren there, and he wasn't there last year, but there's still plenty of targets to go around. I just think, going into his third year, if he takes any bit of a step forward at all this year, that's a huge value. If we counted the receivers here that have already gone, it's more than 32. I just think he's a really safe bet to outperform that ADP.
Yeah, I agree. I like the ounce quite a bit. I mean, it's you have to think the quarterbacking is gonna be better. Like Jones is gonna be better than Flacco. Like there's no question. And like Richardson can't be worse than he was last year. Well, maybe he can, but not too much worse.
I don't think so. He was pretty bad last year.
Yeah. Well, what if his completion percentage is what, like 40%, 47%? Like, what if he drops like 39% this year or something? Like, I don't know. Like, there's something wrong with him, but look, he has a lot of potential too. Like he could. I would say it's better chance that he's better than worse. So, I'm definitely on board with Downs. I've been drafting him a lot. What's my kind of curious about my ownership here on Downs? It is 17%. So it's creeping up there. Okay, so I'm up in 5 picks here. We have time for one question here. Walt, excited you posted your season playoff predictions with week 1 scores. Looking forward that every year to see if we align. Appreciate all the work you do. Thank you so much, Drew. Really appreciate it. Mike saying, yeah, appreciate your work. We shall tell you that more often. Thank you so much, guys. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching all the time. It just means a lot that like you guys tune in all the time, and it's a lot of fun. I look forward to this all the time. Like when I was in Vegas, we did one show, and it kind of like felt empty, like not doing the show like 4 nights a week. So it is always a blast to do this. So gonna star some quarterbacks. I don't think gonna take one, but just in case, gonna start Charbonnet. We need another receiver. Do we take Higgins again or Trey Harris maybe? And then we don't have a tight end yet, so. I know you like Tyler Warren. I'm definitely interested in that. So we could have like a Colt stack going here with maybe taking either Richardson or Jones late. So I'm going to take Tyler Warren because we don't have a tight end, and maybe we can get one of those receivers on the way back. So what would you have done there?
Yeah, I love Warren. I've got him neck and neck with Tucker Kraft. I mean, Jordan Love was talking up Tucker Kraft in May, and he's picked right up where he's left off as well. Especially in best ball, where you don't have to worry when all the other receivers have the big weeks. He's not going to hit your lineup. It sounds like Tucker Kraft is primed for a really big year. So I've sort of got a cluster right here with these tight ends. It's Engram, who's gone, Kraft, Warren, and Njoku. I've lowered Njoku to the bottom of that tier only because, and we talked about this a lot, for him, we need Joe Flacco to be the starting quarterback, and that just hurts to say that.
No,
nobody wants to watch Joe Flacco.
I know, and not only do we need Flacco from 2 years ago.
Right, yeah.
It's I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see Flacco for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, and then it's gonna be either Pickett or Gabriel.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough. So that's I've dropped Njoku as well. I was higher on him. I was drafting a little bit earlier, and now I feel like I haven't drafted him in the last month and a half, just because I kind of realized like I have a rule. Like one of my main rules of fantasy is don't draft players from bad offenses unless they're elite, like Neighbors. And Njoku's a very talented tight end, but he's not good enough to overcome Dylan Gabriel quarterbacking. So that really worries me. Or Pickett, as long as what if Flacco's even worse than he was last year? Like it could be a complete disaster. So
he's like our age at this point. He could completely fall apart.
That's definitely true. All right, you're up in one pick. So these are the top players. What are you thinking here?
I know everybody loves Justin Fields, and it's a solid value for him here. I don't trust him to not get benched, even with Tyrod Taylor being the backup. I love Drake May.
Yeah, me too.
So I know they said that they're trying to make it so he doesn't run as much this year.
Mm-hmm.
Drake May's got a chance to just be a really good quarterback, and he's still going to have rushing yards. He may not have, he had 400 plus last year. He may not bump that up to like 650 or 700, but I would guess that if he had over 400 in essentially 10 games last year, I know he technically played more than 10 games, but some of that was just like getting in here and there. I think he's a pretty safe bet to have 400 yards rushing again and then take a leap forward as a passer.
Yeah, I agree. I like Drake May a lot. He's one of my highest owned quarterbacks here. I think that scrambling thing was nonsense. Like every quarterback doesn't want to run, like the risk of injury. But like once the game starts, and like he's young enough that like he's not going to see everything, and like he's going to want to run. It'd be different. It's like a 6-year veteran or something. Like if Josh Allen said it before, like he wanted to stop running. Like by the time of his career, that made sense, because the game slowed down for him. But like May, the game's still gonna be pretty fast. So I feel like he's gonna, even though he said he doesn't want to run, I feel like it's kind of like BS. Like I feel like he's still gonna get like 600 plus on the ground.
He gets a huge offensive coordinator upgrade too with Josh. He's getting back there.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Sue asking, I wonder if Mike's gear shift on his car malfunction and he couldn't put it in reverse or park, would he call AutoZone for help? This is a question related to jerks of the week. So Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
I'll tell you, I used to work at ESPN and I worked for stats and information. And so I worked until very late at night. And I was coming home one night, and there was nobody on the road. It's the middle of the night. And I was like in my early 20s or something like that. I was driving an old Nissan Rogue, and I lost my brakes. I went to stop, and I lost my brakes. And thank God it was so late at night, because I just drove home the rest of the way with no brakes.
Wow.
No one else was on the road. But that's the closest I can come to that situation.
That's wild. How scared were you? No brakes, Jesus.
Well, thankfully there were no other cars on the road, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And I was close to home. I didn't drive for like 20 minutes with no brakes, so I should throw that out there too.
Okay. All right. That's that's gonna be a little scary. I don't know what to do here. I don't like any of these players. There's Quentin Johnson. Maybe we'll take Quentin Johnson again. I don't know. We could take a third quarterback, I guess. Take Herbert and then Johnson. What'd you say?
There's some good quarterbacks.
Yeah, there are for sure. Unfortunately, we don't really stack anyone here. There's no Mayfield. Too early for Colts, and like we could take a Colts quarterback late to stack with those. So I don't really want to take a Colts quarterback. Do we take Garendo this early? Like, I don't know. Tight end. I don't love anyone here. I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We only have 4 receivers. Maybe you're right about Quentin Johnson. Let's go Johnson again. And then who knows? Maybe Herbert makes it back or something. But Yeah, you could be right about Johnson. If you're right, then I would like to have him in more leagues than just one. Like, this is probably the second time I've only drafted Johnson, so it makes sense to take him a little bit more, especially if he's having a great camp. So,
Well, hey, let's pump the brakes on my views on Quentin Johnson. I think he's worth a shot here in the 11th round. If you look at the receivers who are going around this area, like Christian Kirk, he's nothing special. He could lose some playing time to Noel. This is sort of getting to that area where you don't like the receivers that are left.
Right. No, we took him at 904 last time, so 1107 is a lot better,
And even if you look like Keon Coleman, I'm hearing Keon Coleman looks like Keon Coleman from last year.
Does he?
You got Bateman. What's he going to have? A couple of good games.
Yeah.
Mooney's injured right now. He's not that great anyway. Yeah. Trey Harris is probably not going to have as good of a year as Quentin Johnston. He's already gone. Ayuk's never going to play.
Yeah, it seems like a wasted pick there. Mims is a returner now.
Right.
So Kirk is going to be out by week 3.
Right.
Yeah. Rashid Shaheed. I like Shaheed if and only if Olave gets hurt. Just because like rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks just like lock in on one guy. And so if Olave's gone, it could be Shaheed. But like if Shaheed's the number 2 on a team with a rookie quarterback, no thank you.
Well, what Shaheed has going for him is Shuck is really a gunslinger. I mean, he's probably going to throw 50 interceptions this year, but he's going to throw the ball all over the place.
Right.
If he ends up starting. So at least there's that.
That's definitely true. We'll see if he keeps his job or even if he wins the job. So we'll see. All right, you're going to be up in 3 picks. So let's see who's available. So we have these guys. We have 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 5 receivers, 1 tight end. So pretty much anything's open. So let me know what position you want to see here.
Let's take a look at let's see what we have here. All right.
So running backs with Tootin, Garendo, Stanton, Blue. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should go with Dalton Kincaid.
Oh, really? Okay.
I know you're not going to love that.
I don't hate it.
So again, last year the knee was bothering him. It did pop up the other day, and it was the same knee, but it's the first week of camp, and I believe he still practiced. He just kind of put a sleeve on it. Mm-hmm. He's just the type of guy who was disappointing last year. We don't need to see a 3rd-year breakout for that to be a quality pick. We just need him to have the same year he had as a rookie. He had like 80+ catches as a rookie.
Yeah.
And if he does that again in the 12th round, that's good value. For me, the value starts to fall off at tight end after Loveland and Kincaid. So I just think now we kind of hedge our bets in case Tyler Warren isn't, in case he isn't going to be a stud right off the bat.
Yeah, in like regular fantasy, I never draft a tight end until like round 14. So I always, unless like there's a crazy value. Sometimes I will, but like a couple years ago, I drafted Hawkinson around 7. Like he fell to me. This is before the torn ACL. So I will sometimes like take value, but I would normally like to draft tight end round 14 and then kicker defense or defense kicker. Just because I love playing matchups. Like there's certain teams that can't defend tight ends at all. And so I just like exploring that. Like I said, unless I get like a crazy value or something. Good evening, gents. I love the show. I'm stuck. I have a trade offer for my 108 Pollard and 2027 3rd for Chase Brown and a 309 thoughts. And then he says, this is a 12-man Superflex Dynasty League. So what are your thoughts here?
All right. So
108 Pollard, 2027 3rd for Chase Brown and 309. I have to click off here because we're going to be up soon. I could repost this real fast.
Yeah, it's a fair trade. I think it's a fair trade. I think I'm taking the Chase Brown side though. 108 Superflex doesn't really matter this year, right? Because it's Cam Ward, and that's it. So after that, like you're not going to take Jackson Dart at 108. He's
Right.
going to go later than that. So you're looking at. I'll let you make your pick here.
Guerendo time. Let's go.
Yes. I'm on board with that.
Yes. I was a little worried that we didn't take him in the 12th, but we got him in the 13th. So I'm very happy. This draft is a success. So we took Guerendo.
And so 108, you're looking at probably Abuka, Matthew Golden. The running backs are going to be gone unless you want to take Judkins. Harvey might be there. So probably one of those 4 players or one of the tight ends. So you're looking at Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Abuka, Golden, Judkins, RJ Harvey. That might be your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, Dynasty's great. Having young players and prospects is nice. If you could get a borderline 2nd round running back who's still young, I'm taking that.
I would too. It's a close trade, but I think I'd rather have Chase Brown. Like it depends on like how good the rest of your roster is. Like if you think you can win this year, then I would definitely take Chase Brown. If you're like complete rebuild and like you're taking over a team that just sucks, then I probably would just take the rookie. Yeah. But it, like I said, it depends. But in normal situations, if all things are like even, if you have like a mid team or maybe like slightly above average team that could win now, then I would go Chase Brown. So good luck to you. I hope it works out, and hope you win your league. Let's see here. This is a commie draft. Apparently, no one likes best ball. We will start doing regular drafts soon. We actually start in August, so it will be next week. What do we think of Kamara? Yes, Cassandra. I voiced my opinion on Kamara. I think you did as well, right? I mean, we touched on him a little bit. Have any like further thoughts on Kamara? I'm not touching him at all.
Yeah, I mean, we disagree a little bit on him. I like him a lot. I don't even think he needs to have a big year stats-wise or be good as an NFL football player. I just think that with Kellen Moore, his offense has run so many plays. The game script, they're going to be losing a lot of games. I could see him having 90 targets and really not even having a lot of yards. But, if he has 75, 80 catches, it's going to be, a top 12 fantasy back.
Yeah, you're up 20 seconds. Okay. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So do we need any particular position here?
No, not at all.
All right. Do we have a 3rd quarterback yet?
No.
Is Richardson there?
Yes.
Let's take Richardson.
Okay. All right, cool. We got Richardson, so we got our stack with Richardson plus Warren and Downs. We don't have anyone in stack with May, but that's like the old question, not old question, but I've heard it's like what's the best way to stack Josh Allen? Just Josh Allen. It's like the best games he has is when he runs for 3 touchdowns. And we stacked Hurts with Brown and Smith. Maybe we could take Pop Douglas later to pair with May, but I really don't care. You know who I've been drafting a little bit? I wonder your opinion on this in the 20th round a couple times. Only if I drafted Drake May is Kayshon Boutte. Just because I read that he's the number 2 receiver right now. I don't know how long it's gonna last. Like Kyle Williams is there, but like Diggs is number 1, but like I don't trust Diggs to stay healthy at all. I know there's positive reports. He's a 31-year-old coming off torn ACL. Like he's not gonna stay healthy. So assuming Diggs goes down, like does Boutte take over as the number 1 receiver there, like on the outside at least? Douglas being in the slot. Like what are your thoughts on Boutte 20th round?
So just my personal opinion on this is the pecking order is going to be Diggs and Pop Douglas until Kyle Williams starts. I think Boutte is the starter until Kyle Williams overtakes him.
Yeah.
Whether that's before week 1 or not, I don't know. We'll see. Kyle Williams has been pretty good to start camp, though, so it could be before week 1. That said, in the 20th round, I think it's great to take chances on guys like that because Boutte is a guy who might not get drafted in every one of these drafts. We've talked about this in previous shows, but if you take some of these guys who aren't owned in all these leagues and they hit, now you have a huge advantage because they're not in every league.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah, like when you get to the playoffs, if you have someone no one else has and they're going off, like it's a huge edge for sure. All right, I'm up. We have 4 running backs, 5 receivers. And Thornton's there. I don't trust him to come back. We're gonna take Dante Thornton. We didn't do that last time. So we got our guy that we couldn't do last time. Best one at 1401, which is a big mistake. If Thornton was gone, I think I would have maybe gone Algier or Alec Pierce. But yeah, we got our what, sixth receiver, is that correct? Yeah, sixth receiver. So yeah, we need we're a little light on running backs. Other than that, I think we're looking pretty good. I like this team. I like this team more than the other one for sure. I can't say why McCaffrey could really torpedo this. But like if he stays healthy, I think this team has legit chance of like going really deep into the playoffs. Any thoughts on like the difference between this and the last one? As a refresher, last time we took Lamb, Irving, McBride, Burrow, Smith, Caleb Johnson, Pearsall, Higgins, Quentin Johnson, Herbert, Judkins, Bixby, Blue, etc. Which team do you like better so far?
I like both of them. I think the first team definitely needs a little bit more to go right? Like Judkins needs to come back and play.
Right.
Is a 0 this year, then that's a bad pick. But I think we got him in the 11th round, or was it the 9th round? 11th round. Yeah. So I really think that he's going to be back at some point, and that could change the complexion of the whole draft. If he's back before week 1 and he's the starter by say like October, I think that team's going to be really good. But I like this one too. I think it's just different.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Draft Tim Biakabatuka.
Yes, Michigan.
Yeah, Tomanga Biakabatuka.
Yep,
that's the real name. Gonna be Texans practice in 8 hours. That's awesome. Have fun. That's great.
Hey, say hi to my buddy Cody Stutes while you're there, the beat writer.
Oh, cool. Yeah. You're up in 2 picks. I should probably stop looking at comments. So you're up. What are your thoughts here? We, like I said, if any of these running backs interest you, we take them. Otherwise, you can look at something else.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, we could go receiver. Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if one of those Rams running backs hits, if anything happens to Kyren Williams, one of those Rams running backs is going to be really big. And I just don't know if it's going to be Hunter or Corum. I don't think they know yet. So it's upside.
Yeah. I was hoping, I did see Pierce go, and I was hoping he would be there, and he's not, unfortunately. So, so you were saying that he looks good, in practice. I didn't read anything about that, but.
Yeah, apparently his route running looks improved this year, and I'm sure it's not anything major, but to go along with that, A.D. Mitchell has not looked good in camp, so that's good for Pierce as well.
Yeah,
and it's only the fourth week too. I mean, let's keep that in mind.
Well, I mean, look, I've said this before. He's great in best ball. It's just like he's had these like amazing games. Like if it's only like 3 or 4 per season, like he's paying that price off in the 16th round. But if he's looking better, like who knows, maybe he's more consistent. Like that'll be phenomenal if he's that way. And plus, as we were talking about before, the quarterbacking is gonna be better in Indianapolis. So that's it's pretty encouraging to hear, because I've drafted him a bunch. I've have him in, I'm gonna say what's over under 15%. Let's see, it's 26% Alec Pierce. So I'm pretty happy about that. So it's a nice win so far. We'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna be up in 5 picks real fast. We have Chase and Hampton for Neighbors and Henry.
East side by a lot.
Yes, because Neighbors, as we were saying before, he could be banged up right now with the toe, and like I think he's gonna play, but like I was saying before, I touched on this like real quickly. Like, what if like the toe's really bothering him late in the season, like fantasy football playoffs, and they're just like, and they suck. Of course, the Giants are gonna be awful this year. Like, what if they just shut him down in like week 14 or week 15? That would be a nightmare, So I really worry about that. Does that concern you at all?
Not too much. With bad teams, it's always a little bit of a concern, though. You're right. But I've got Chase ahead of Neighbors. Obviously, Chase is my number 1 overall player, and I've got Hampton and Henry in the same spot, so it's an easy win.
Okay. I took Pat Bryant. Is the number 2 in Denver, I assume. He's been talked about by Sean Payton, and it's not going to be Marvin Mims. He's going to be a returner. Sean Payton loves size. So, have you heard anything on Pat Bryant in camp at all?
Yeah, I heard Brian and even Troy Franklin have both looked pretty decent so far. And from what I hear, Pat Bryant is going to have a role as of right now, early in the season. So,
Okay.
of course, again, that can change. Camp's been going on for a week, but for people who are listening, camp like practices with pads, with full pads, it really just started at the beginning of this week or over the weekend. So everything is really just sort of new. There's still a lot of time for things to change.
Okay. Yeah, good to hear. So hey guys, I'm a sports graphic designer. Let's work. I mean, if you want to send your resume, I don't know what you're pitching, but I'm always all ears. Pacheco sleeper in the 7th. What do you think about Pacheco sleeper in the 7th round?
Yeah, I mean, look, the only other guy in that backfield who is intriguing at all to me is Elijah Mitchell. And I mean, really late, because Elijah Mitchell looked pretty decent with the 49ers, but he was hurt all of last year. So we have no idea what we're getting here. I really feel like Elijah Mitchell is going to be the handcuff there. But for me, it's Pacheco as the starter, and it's not this competition that everybody seems to think it is.
Yeah, I just worry if like Pacheco's not healthy. He looked really banged up at the end of last year. And I think that like you're up in 2 picks. I think that there's a good chance that he is healthy, but I don't know. I just worry about it, But yeah, we're up now. We don't really need anything. Maybe one more running back. We can take one later. So what do you? We're up right now. What do you think?
All right, most boring pick ever. Let's go with Raheem Mostert. And he's like 32 years old, which is dust for a running back.
Yes.
But they're not going to give Genty 400 touches as a rookie. This is a brand new GM. I know Pete Carroll's the oldest head coach in NFL history, but when you use the 6th pick on a running back, it's a conversation that the whole organization has about how they're going to use him. And I know he's going to play a lot. I'm not saying he's not going to get a lot of the workload, but they're not going to just completely run this guy into the ground in a 17-game season as a rookie. It's just not going to happen. If you look at recent history, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, look at the teams that didn't do that. Dameon Pierce was the starter right away with the Houston Texans, and he actually looked pretty darn good for the first half of his rookie season. And then he was just done because you don't play 17 games in college. So Genty got a lot of run last year. He had extra games because they made it to the college football playoffs. But the Raiders are going to somewhat manage his load, and Mostert is the clear number 2 back there.
Yeah, I keep yelling to the high heavens that like that Genty is just being overdrafted right now. In the first round, he went 112 here, right? Yeah, this guy took Genty and Bowers. I don't know about that that strategy. It doesn't seem great. Charlie Campbell is the most accurate mock drafter in the world. He because he spoke to Raiders sources and he came away saying that he wouldn't draft Genty until the 3rd round. Just like they don't expect him to play 3rd downs, like integration to the offense. It's going to be a little slower than people think. Now, Charlie also said that he expects second half of the year Genty could really take off, but I think people are going to be frustrated with Mostert. It's going to be like a fly flying around your house, like just so annoying. I glad to hear you're on board with that because I feel like I'm like people think I belong in like the mental hospital. It's like saying that like, oh, Genty shouldn't go in the 1st round or early 2nd, and like people are like, you're crazy. It feels like everyone says that. I don't know, but where would you take Genty ideally? Do I take Theo Johnson again? What are tight end buys? 11 and 7. So Theo Johnson's wide open. We have not taken Higbee. But I do like, as much as I've taken Higbee, I actually like Theo Johnson more. So we're going to take Theo Johnson. It's no Higbee tonight. I'm sure I'll draft him later tonight when I do another fantasy draft. But anyway, where would you ideally take Genty?
Yeah, so I have him in the 2nd round of my chart. I've got him below Jonathan Taylor. Something we talked about last time, but when you look at the situation that these guys are in. We talked about Genty. They're going to have a plan for him. They are not coaching and general managing for their jobs. They're in their first year. Pete Carroll's an established head coach. He has nothing to worry about. You look at the Colts, though. Okay, so Jonathan Taylor has very little guaranteed money left on his deal after this year. He's 27 years old. Their head coach, their GM, they're both on the hot seat this year. And their quarterback's situation is uncertain, to be kind. So you know that they're sitting there saying, we're going to run Jonathan Taylor into the ground this year, because why not? And you saw it with the free agent running backs last year, right? Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. Okay, the teams that let them leave caught a lot of slack, but they weren't going to make those teams better. The teams that signed them, they looked at it as, these are short-term commitments. We could take these guys and just run them right into the ground, because who cares? We're going to have 1 year of a cap hit. It's not a big deal. So, you're absolutely right with Genty. You'd much rather have these 27, 28-year-olds. Now there's, Derrick Henry's 31. Running backs do fall off a cliff once they get to 29, 30, 31. But I think there's a sweet spot with guys like Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, these second contract type guys where their teams don't have any commitment to them. I'd much rather roster them than a rookie.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct about that. I just don't see Genty having that big workload. So you would take Genty late second from what I understand?
I consider him mid-second, but the problem is mid-second, I'm probably always taking a wide receiver if I'm not taking if Jonathan Taylor's gone.
Yeah, and he's not going to be there anyway, because people are taking him between like 109 and 204. So
Yep.
I haven't drafted him much at all. You're up a couple picks here. Is kind of useless looking at the best players available, but like,
do we need any more running backs?
No, we're good. We're good. We can do anything here, whatever you want.
Okay, let's take Alexander Madison. I know he sucks.
Why are we taking him then?
All right, so
I think this guy sucks.
I thought we were running out of time right there.
No, we have 20 seconds.
Okay, we can take any position here.
Anything.
All right. Let's see.
10 seconds.
Let's take him. We're taking him. Let me explain. Okay, let's take Madison. Let me explain.
Okay.
This guy is not going to be. He's not going to be rostered in a lot of these leagues.
Right.
Okay. I'm sure he probably, if you were to look at all the leagues that you drafted, he's probably been drafted in like 5 of them out of all of them.
Probably even less. Yeah.
From what it sounds like, he's taking over the Raheem Mostert role with the Dolphins.
Really? Okay.
He's off to a great start, and the pads went on today, and the beat writers were all talking about it. Now, I know that doesn't mean a whole lot based on the fact that, he's also got a track record of being a very mediocre running back. But I think in the 20th round, if you're going to get a mediocre running back who's going to have, a couple of big games and he's going to get goal line carries, I think that's someone who could have a sneaky couple of big games. And what if it happens late in the season when you're in the playoffs? So it's just, how I am with these 20th round picks. I kind of like to take shots on guys who aren't really rostered in a lot of leagues. And so he's someone who's sort of on my radar as someone who's going to mess things up for Jalen Wright.
So you really don't think Jalen Wright's going to be the number 2 running back, or at least from what it sounds like?
From what it sounds like, Alexander Madison has the early lead to have a decent role. I mean, obviously A-Chain is going to be the guy, but it sounds like Madison might take over that Mostert role where he's getting goal line carries and some of the short yardage situations. So, if he is, and that offense bounces back a little bit, I mean, we saw Mostert with 20 touchdowns a couple years ago. Now Mostert's better than Madison.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Madison's going to have 20 touchdowns, but I'm just saying, if this team's good enough to make it to the playoffs, and then Alexander Madison has a couple of touchdowns, a couple of short yardage touchdowns, it could be the type of performance that wins something for you.
Yeah, look, I mean, if that is true, then it's worth taking him because Achane is very injury prone. So, yeah, like I definitely understand that. So, I mean, maybe that works out. Maybe this is the $2 million lineup, and it's Madison leading the way in week 17. That would be incredible. Brent says Stoots gave me passes to go last year.
He's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah. That's awesome. Blessed says, okay, we already did that. 10, 12, and 18 touchdowns at age 30. Who's that talking about? That's Biaka Batuka, isn't he? No, wait. I think he was talking about Biaka Batuka before.
Did he really have those? Really? He did that at age? I didn't remember him being around at age 30.
I don't know. He had a good start to his career, and then he got hurt, and he was out for a couple of years, and then he came back. I don't know if he did that, but like, let's look.
I'm Googling it.
Tim Biaka Batuka, no, he never had more than 6 touchdowns in his career.
I think that might be Mostert.
Might be Mostert. Yeah, it might be Mostert. Check this a little bit there. Just it's because like that comment was made 12:41. That was 9 minutes ago, so we just don't know. Okay, so here's chest and hip injuries last year. At least wasn't Raheem's legs. Yeah, that's true. What are your thoughts on Mayfield's new guarantee money? He received $30 million in guarantees the other day. I say he's worth it. I mean, he had 2 great years. Now, granted, it was under two bright offense coordinators, and maybe he regresses this year without Cohen and Canales. But I mean, he's earned it. And this money, as Kenny would say tomorrow, if you ask Kenny this question tomorrow, he'd say it's meaningless because the cap is fake, and the Eagles have proven and the Saints have proven you keep pushing money back, kicking the can down the road like the Federal Reserve, just like never even like questioning this, and just like late in like 10-15 years you pay the price when your team sucks and you eat all the bad money in one shot, and then you restart again. But like it doesn't matter. So if you want to pay Mayfield $30 million for what he's done and he's still young, I'm all for it. Any thoughts? This is our last comment, so what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's definitely worth it. He's probably not going to repeat what he did last year because he had just a completely elite year last year. I mean, in real football, in fantasy football, I think he was quarterback 3 overall last year as well. Yeah. But even if he does what he did in 2023, he's worth the $30 million in guarantees. And I mean, let's face it, they're not moving on from him anytime soon. So it's not a big deal. And you're right with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts and that guarantee, but he counted $13 million toward the cap last year, and that's absurd.
Yeah, the Eagles are masters of it. The Saints are too, except they haven't had as much luck as the Eagles with their draft picks and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, look, if as long as the owner is willing to pay the money, you can keep kicking the can down the road. And I mean, Kenny's been talking about that. He has a whole website dedicated to it, thecapIsFake.com. So we'll have him on tomorrow. I haven't heard otherwise. So yeah, Mike, great to have you on once again. I think we did 2 great drafts. So like I said, I think the second one is better than the first. But I do like both teams, and I think both teams have a chance to make the playoffs. And who knows what happens once that occurs. So all right. So any final parting thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, no, I just want to make it clear that I don't love Alexander Madison. It's just that I think he's going to have more of a role than people expect. And so in the 20th round, I throw some weird names out there.
Yeah, no, you're 100%. Like 20th round, even 19th round, you draft players. It's a great strategy. Draft players who aren't going to be rostered in many of these leagues, and that is definitely a leg up that you can have once the playoffs start. So you're 100% right about that. All right, so thank you guys for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Please hit like, subscribe. Did we get to 5,000 subs? Let's see. We're exactly 5,000 subs. Thank you so much, guys. That is awesome. Cool milestone. Like, yeah, I was saying that, like, I would love to hit 5,000 by the start of the season, and look, we have a month to spare, so that is really, really cool. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, we're gonna be back tomorrow with Kenny. Thursday's a Hall of Fame game, so if once the backups start coming in the second half, I might pop in and do a draft or something as the second half is going on. I might do that. And then Saturday with Tom. So full slate this week after taking a few days off last week while I was in Vegas. But yeah, Mike, awesome to have you on. I can't wait till you're on again. I thank you so much, guys, and we'll be back tomorrow. And have a great night. And I'll talk